Till now, we have seen creating UI, adding button, adding JText field, JLabels, and finally we have also done the JPanel as well. We have added many buttons, but not a functionality. So today we are going to add a functionality. We'll start with the basic functionality. First of all, we've seen like how to add click event on a given frame. So let's consider as it is our a frame, and then now I want to add. I will take one button here, simple buttons. So what I want after clicking on this button, I want to take some event. So basically, the topic is today's how to use an event here. Suppose I'm adding button here. After adding this button, I want to do some things. Either I want to print some message, either I want to print some alert box or some things. So firstly, we need to understood this. And after that, once we understood how to take a click event, then we'll take one edit text here. The second task will be how to read this input on the button clicks. And whatever the input we have done, so that input data will be set on the labels. So first of all, you see the button events, then the JText field, how to read an input, and then the JLabel, how to set the value as. Okay. So let's start. We already created a frame, so I'm not going to waste the time while creating a frames because we know now. Just extend the JFrames and set size, set geometry, and set visible true, and call that constructor. So the frame will be get created. So now I'll focus on how to add in functionality. So let's open some file, GUI applications. Already I have buttons, so let I use one buttons at any frame buttons here. So let me copy this thing code. I want to use only one button here basically. So I'll just take right click, new. Yeah, let me create one some empty frame first. So go here, create a new class. So they give the name as a BTN click main class itself. And go on here. So let's copy that frame code as usual. We need one button, one constructor, and this set layout null and set visible too. Whichever things which gets regular use as it is. Correct? Is that okay? Yeah. So how when it going to work? When we are going to extends which JFrames, JFrames. It's and at the last, the important one, the set visible true. Without this, screen will be not visible. True. TRUE true. Okay. And call this constructor here. New button click event. Perfect. Now let's run this programs. Right click run as Java application. We'll get one empty frame. Yes, like this. Okay. Now add one buttons. So already created many object here. SP1. So I want to add a button at the center position that all the widgets should be add before set visible true itself. Okay, remember this. So let's me add a B1 is equal to what we can take new button, G button. Add the message that is click me, CLICK, click me, semicolon. Then the set bounds method is there. So I want to add not background, I want to add a set bounds, BOUNDS, set bounds, set bounds, bounds. This one. Okay. So let me add X, Y, and width and height. I want to add exactly at the center, though center means 250 will be the center, and, and then accordingly height and width we can use. So I take it 200 as a x, 200 as a y, and then I will give the width this, and height will be 50. Okay. And we can add this button on a frames. Now we are no panel is there, so directly we can add that buttons on a frames. So let's run this. So the empty frame will be here and it is exactly the center. Now what I want to do some functionality. After clicking on these buttons, I want to do something. Okay. Either I can print the things on console, either I can take some alert box and something that I want to do. Okay. So now the very important function, how to add a functionality here. To adding a functionality, like adding a frame size, we have created. Okay. So adding functionality, adding a frame control, we are using the exchange JFrames. In the similar manner, if you want to add some functionality here, so you have to use one interface that is nothing but action performed. Okay. So I will use that interface. So I let me use an implements action performed, AXCION action. It's an action listener. Is there anywhere? Yes. Okay. So as soon as we are implementing that action listener, and we know that in if any interface having some non-empty methods, so that method should be get override. So in action listener, there is one method. That method is known as action performed. See, if you go here, you can see that there is one unimplemented method is there. So let me click on that. So as soon as I click on that, the one method is get override, and that is nothing but action performed. So that means after clicking on this button, you want to take in any action, that all code should be done here. Okay. So let me print a simple one this on console, like button click, CLICKED. But there is an issue like which button should I click? So for that, I need to add here one listener, like after clicking this button. So there is an one function called add action listener this. Okay. So this means after clicking on this button, I should perform this operation. Let's see it practically. Up to now, we have created as empty frames, but which is non-functional. This is empty frames. After that, we have added button, but nothing is happening. But now, if I run this frame once again, and we have already taken action perform on this, if I click on this button, so the action perform things will be get executed, and we have printed button click. So if I click on there, you can see that on console we are getting button click. Correct. So now we are starting adding a functionality. Up to now we are just creating an event, creating just an UI, but now we can perform some actions. Okay. What are the steps to perform actions? The very first thing, you can implement interface. As soon as you can implement interface, there is one unimplemented method will be get override, and that is nothing but action performs. So within that action perform, you want to take any action, you can do it, and whichever the button you want to perform. So let's use that action listener. This perfect. So but this is action performed is common for everyone. So then how should we get differentiate which button is clicked, right? You understood this, how to take an action perform. Let me add some Optional panel is also there, like an alert box kind of. J option panel is there, like J option pan is there. J option pan. Okay. And there is one show confirmation or show message box will be there. SHOW message. Yeah, message dialogues. Okay. Within that, you can add a. So I don't want to take anything. So null and one message. You clicked me. CLICK. You clicked me. So this action will be get shown on a pop-up kind of things. See, if I click here, you can see the message. You clicked me. Right? You clicked me. Okay. So this is the action how we can take by adding just implementing action listeners. Implement action listener. Add action listener to these buttons. It will override one action perform methods and with perform will be done here. Okay. Now the next things, how should we can differentiate between multiple buttons? Okay. Just assume now, in previous, we have taken many buttons here. If you consider this example, and if I run these programs, so there are many buttons. So how should I come to know that which button I'm clicking? Okay. So there must be some differentiates, right? So for that, in action performed event, we should compare the E option, which event we want to take. If E equal to B1, then it is for the button ones, then for the button 2 and the button 3. Like similar manner, if you check my the previous example where I use multiple buttons, for example, if I run these programs, you come to know there is a three frame is there, three buttons are there, save, clear, and exit. See, so that means we are differentiating. We are exiting, matlab we are exiting a click buttons. Same process we have followed. You can say that implement action listeners. There are three different buttons are there. So that buttons are all like you can see that there is an add action listener for save B, add action listener for clear B, add action listener for XB. And there is also one method that is nothing but action performs. So how we are differentiating? E dot get source is a function which will get the button names. If equal to this, then do this. If equal to that, then do this. Okay. So the same function we have to use here also for checking multiple button events. Right. So this is for the common event. So if you click anywhere, so this option only get executed. But now if we check this example, so there are many buttons are there. So let's try for something very fresh one. How should we do the multiple action now? Very first thing we have to implement action listener. So let me implement here. Implement action listener. Action listeners. Okay. It override one method that is nothing but action performs. So let it override this methods action performs. Here we can add that multiple if else condition. If action perform get source, if this, then perform this. So like in our case, what is our button name is there? B, B2, B3, B4. So let me take, if it is a B, then what you have to perform. And we can use that alert, this J option pan. Okay. If it is a B, so I can alert as suppose 1, right? You can write else if else. You can copy this. If it is a B2, then you can add it is make it as a 2. And in the similar manner, that's per the number of buttons, you can do the if else, and if else. B1, B2, there is suppose a B3 is there. So let me add here 3. There is a B4 is there. So let me add here 4. Is there anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah, there is also, we have added a left, right, top, bottom. So that also you can do. If it is an, let me add at least one. If it is a T, then you can consider it as a top. Now every button must add this external listener as well, like this. Just create a different button object. So for the button 1 also, I'm going to add action listener this. For the button 2 also, you can add action listener this. Sorry. So for the button 3 also, we can add action listeners. Button 4 also, we are adding an action listeners. Process remains same. You can add any kind of buttons. Okay, we added 2 times this before. Okay, it must be a B5 something. We should take. Not a problems. Okay, so basically now we have 4 different buttons, and if I run these programs, we'll come to know. See, if I add 1, this is for ones, defines. This is 2, this is 3, this is a 4, 1. Okay, 4 is get confused because there are 2 times 4 we have added. So at one place we have taken action listener, and on second place you are not added this. So basically this is a confusing one. So let me add a B5 as well. So it will be get differentiates. It is not for B4. Basically it is for B5. B4, B4, B5, B5, B5. So now it will work B4, like B4. Okay. You can execute the 5 as well. So for that we have to add their B5 option as well. This is B5, but the semicolon is missing. So let's add a semicolon here. So in the below as well, we have to add a condition for B5 as well. B4 in a similar manner, there is a B5. You can add the option for 5. Perfect. So this is a way of understanding that as many button you can have frames, and every individual button performing some different operations. Fine. Okay. So the same thing will be happen at everywhere. Even you can, if you see this editor, the editor have many icons here. You see the how many icons and how congested it is. But every action have some different events here. So this is also the some difference. Okay, this is also the some difference. So there are many things are there. In the similar manner, we have in our frames, there are some options are there. And the based on our selection, we can perform that operation. Even the bottom is not working, left is not working, right is also not working, but the top one is working. We added a top for event, na, right? Why it is not working now? If j equal to t, t only we have taken. Okay. Why it is not working? Because we have not added external listener over there. So that's it. T dot add external listener. Okay. Now it will work. So we know now, like we can add event on anything. So this is the first thing that you can either use a single buttons, so not a problems. Or but if you are using multiple buttons, you have to differentiate the which button you are clicking and which option you should execute or which action you should take on that particular buttons. Fine. So button click event understood? Hello? Okay. So one more thing, very one little thing we can now we are going to add is how to take an input. The two things today we'll understood the functionality, and tomorrow we'll do many you can say that programs on that things. Because for performing programs we need one edit text, one event. We know to click event, how to take a click events. Now we have to understood how to take an input from users. So for that, we already have some basic frame structure is ready. So let me use that frame structure readily. So like if you see these frames, we have already ready structure. Like we have some input, we have some button, we have some label as well. So let me create into perform some action. So for that, I have to implement action listener. You can override one buttons action performs. So as of now, we have only one button, so I'll not add any events and add this. So directly we can use that things. And the very basic things I need to add here action listener btn dot action action listener and this right. If I perform any action, so let me show some this like this. Let me add here welcome colon equal to. Here is also the welcome colon equal to. Okay, but now I want to welcome these things. Whichever the input, if I add into text field, that input I want to take here. Okay. Then how to take an input from user? So taking input from user, there is a function called getText. Okay. If you go here, so you can add here. Suppose I will take one input str nm is equal to jt dot getText. So this means whatever the input we have added here, that will be text will be get here in this nms, and that nm I'm going to show here or in a console actually. Okay, let's check if it is working or not, or else we need to take an action event for that edit text as well. If it is working, that's fine. So let me take my name here, Suresh. I click. See, can we have that name as well? And even the here is also perfect. Hello. You got this, like how to take an input from users. So like this, you can take an inputs to click event. You can have that value here. Okay. Even though whatever the thing we have taken, that we can set on particular label as well. So let me add one more label here. So I can add a label after this button. So NLB, like I can do the LB2, LB2, LB2. Okay. And I will give the name as your name. We have to make LB2 here. So I want to set that name on that label as well. So, but I have to increase the what we have to increase now. The Y size we should increase. Already have the 50 plus 30, 80, 180, 220. So let's add it at 220. So let check it is you have any label or not. It's not showing. Why? Okay, what is our total size? It's only a 250 na. Okay, so let me take suppose 150. Yeah, so you can have your name is here. So now I want to set that name on here. So like there is a method to get a name. So let me add here. This is for read input. Okay. Now what I want to lb2 dot, there is a function called setText, and that is nothing but which value you want to set, the same thing. And if I run this file, so you'll come to know that after adding this name, passing this input, and after clicking on this events, the name will be set at yes. Okay. So this is a core functionality of Java Swing AWT, where we can have one label, inputs, and one buttons. Now we are not using a scanner class for taking input. We are using all GUI based application to take an input and set the value. So this is a basic functionality we have seen, and yesterday, tomorrow we'll do many applications. Like up to now, whatever we have done, the basic programmings, all programming can done with the help of UI. Once you are understood this, it is very important code how to take an input value, how to calculate the things, and how to set the value back. Okay, I will provide you this only single files. This have all the functionality, adding buttons, taking inputs, and set the value. Set value to labels. Got it? Okay. Functionality. This is very important and the basic functionality commonly need for all the software, because every software needs some event, every software needs some value. So we come to know how to take an input from users, how to calculate it, and how to set it back. So this is basic functionality is given. Getting names, setting names, action perform, and all that things. Okay. So do this example properly, and by tomorrow I will do some basic calculations and assign the task on daily basis. Okay, and we'll check that also, that how your performance. Fine. So tomorrow will be at 9:45, or you can join at 10. 9:45 is fine.